Hey there, YouTubes. Hope all is well. It's been a little while. I thought that I would try to shoot a really quick video here, trying to ask questions to people. I would like to see people really respond to the question of, is human sociality something radically different than the sociality of other animals? Is there a process by which the human being becomes a self that is socio-historical rather than simply evolutionarily biological? Okay, I think now it is true that humans are social animals. I want to grant that. But there's lots of animals that are social, and I don't know if by their sociality we're meaning the same thing when we talk about human sociality. That human sociality implies a kind of non-egocentric orientation. Humans seem to be cooperative in the sense of we're open to the displays that others give, and it's not just from our own ego's orientation. That is, John Dewey has a great line where he says, the farmer comes out and the farmer is throwing grain for the chickens, and each time they see the throw, they act alarmed and they sort of scatter, and then they run back and then they go chase the food, then they scatter and then they come back and they chase the food. But Dewey says, the human learns to discount that action and see it as preparatory of feeding. And I think that issue, that humans learn to see what's going on around them, not just from their own view, but from the view that they imagine others have on it. So like right now, I'm an animal and I'm just gesticulating and I'm giving noises, and when you learn to discount these noises as noises, but try to imagine them as they're entering my consciousness, you actually encounter them as words. But I think one could reduce them to animal-like sounds and just respond to them from one's own egocentricity. Some of the ways to come at the question are, what were your earliest memories? When did you realize you were here? That is the notion of self and the social self, the person, right? Person comes from persona, it means mask. But if we ask what is a person, I think the scientific worldview, from my perspective, is failing us today. I think we look in the world and we use like zoological classification charts where we're looking at each animal and its relationship to the environment. I don't think humans have a direct relationship to their environment. Right? I think other people slide between us in the world, and so that if you try to just imagine that each organism has a relationship to the environment, you miss the way that human sociality is cultural through and through. That is, human sociality has historical bearing that's beyond the particular instruction that I've received from the particular others who are in my world. It's so hard to really convey this, but I do wonder if the scientific worldview doesn't align with a kind of atomistic individualism, with a notion of the brain and its relationship to the environment will suffice for understanding the human condition. I don't think that it will, though. I think somehow what you're experiencing as we think right here together is not something between the organism and its environment. It's a socio-historical phenomena that you've fallen into. Now, certainly our genes, our genetic makeup, enable us to open to this kind of sociality, but it's not in the genes. No, I think if a person were born and we sort of have these feral child considerations. There's everything from the wolf boy of Alvaron. There are, I guess, more contemporary cases. Helen Keller's story is a wonderful story of her falling into the world of meaning and the world as it was known by other people, and how she talks about the absolute revelation that made for her, that the two worlds that it connected, or the two lives that it connected. So I guess I'm interested. out there for people, particularly from the scientific community. I want to know to what extent people in the scientific community are concerned with the question of the other. You know, is the other simply a occasional feature of my experience, or are they a very condition of my existence and my being? I guess I want to say the latter, and I would like to hear some arguments either for or against some of those claims. Okay, thanks.